What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, it's time for us to check back in on an old favorite. It's been a long time since I covered this title, and it's time for us to hit it again because I think this is one of those rare games that very specifically targets a niche that cannot be targeted by anybody but an indie game. Like, there is literally no other way for them to do that. And so this game is called Astrox Imperium. If you've never heard of Astrox Imperium, effectively Astrox Imperium, as I mentioned in my title, is EVE Offline. So this is a game that's being made by one guy. Right now, he's been working on it for like 6 or 7 years. Like a really, really long time he's been working on this game. And the entire point of the game is to create a single-player recreation of what you would have been able to do inside of EVE Online. And that actually is very, very literal. Like, they're not really trying to innovate outside the box with this game. They're trying to recreate the process of ratting, and recreate the process of mining, and recreate the process of wormholing, and recreate the process of building stations and manufactories and things of that nature. And so anyways, very, very interesting title that I think is really only going to appeal to very specific people. But those very specific people, I think, are going to dump utterly absurd amounts of time into this game. They're going to have a really, really good time with it. And so I figured I'd show it off. Over the years, I've really kind of tried to do my best to boost this game as much as humanly possible. But it's just one of those games that, like, it doesn't look like much. It's one of those games that's very, very difficult to get across the appeal of said game, unless you were already an EVE Online player and you've done the whole, like, Pandemic Legion versus, you know, like, Goon Squad. Like, if you've ever done a sort of like the Vietnam type deal, then this game is going to be really, really appealing to you. But it's not quite as deep as EVE Online. So dive on in. Welcome. We're going to play the game for a little while, and we're going to see if we have a good time with it, and I'll just kind of talk about what I'm doing along the way. As of right now, I'm cruising around the galaxy, and I'm bounty hunting. I wanted to get some cash together and kind of get my skill points sort of just, like, organized and sort of filled out, and so that's where we are. But I need... Oh, there's raiders detected here. Well, where are the raiders detected? Hold on. Oh, wow, yeah, a whole fleet jumped in. They got some big boy ships in there. I don't know if we really want to take this fight. Now, what you're seeing is this game has 2 display modes. So basically, this game has, like, normal... Oh, boy, yeah, we're going to get flattened, I think. I'm a little bit scared. I'm a little bit terrified about my safety right now. What you're looking at right now is the tactical view. It allows me to see an icon for every single enemy on the current field of battle, and it allows me to basically have, oof, okay, yep, time for us to go. Yeah, we just took a fat hit. These pirates might be a little bit gangster for us. I'm going to go ahead and take my co-pilot. I do have another guy inside my wing right now. I need to hire another one. My cash flow is looking pretty good at the moment, but I just don't have enough firepower at the moment, so I'm looking to upgrade. We got our mission done inside that sector, so it doesn't really matter. We need to go to Beacon Spitta for our next target. Beacon Spitta, we've already got it queued up, so we'll go ahead and take the faster route right there. This game does feature speed controls. I'm going to try to kind of like talk you through how to play the game at the beginning, just because one very difficult thing about covering this title is that there is no like really established wiki. There is no dialogue on Reddit about this game. The Steam forums are utterly super quiet. Nobody really talks about anything. I haven't joined the Discord yet. I assume the Discord is probably a little bit more lively. But ultimately, if you're trying to learn this game without outside utilities, you're going to have a tough time. The game does come with a large suite of tutorials. There's like 10 or 15 tutorials inside the starting area if you do a campaign. So like a storyline campaign. No storyline in the game yet, but the storyline campaign gives you a consistent galaxy that's the same every single time. Whereas if you play on sandbox mode, it randomizes the galaxy and everything is all over the place, and it can be a big experience trying to map the galaxy and figure out where everything's at. But as I was saying, there's not a whole lot of resources out there that are going to help you figure out how to play this game. So I'm going to be calling out hotkeys and stuff like that a lot more on this one than I normally would. Oh, we got to kill that one guy right there. He's our target, but a giant fleet has just jumped in of pirates, and those are very, very large craft right there. Those are like battle cruisers and stuff. So realistically, what we need to do is we need to watch their ranges very, very carefully And if they start to get inside of like an operational range of us, we need to like dip back. Unfortunately, this is really, really bad for us. I'm going to tell my co-pilot to go and hit that guy right there. This guy is a fighter. You can tell because that's the smallest possible ship you can get. It's that little triangle right there. He's not even like a fighter. He's just a very, very, very small ship. And he's going to hit like a truck. Or I'm sorry, his friends are going to hit like a truck. He over there is not that big of a problem. But the dudes he hangs out with are definitely an issue. And so the only one that I'm actually scared of is that guy right there. He could like one-tap us. These two guys right here are not that big of a deal. They're manageable. So if I can kite them around the galaxy, this is 5.4 security rating. That means eventually the police will show up. And in fact, you can see the beginnings, those little blue circles right there. Those should be the cops showing up, I think. Now, the good news here is these guys are going to have enormous bounties on their heads. If we can actually shoot them down, we can make a lot of cash, but it's going to be very, very dangerous and very, very risky. So let's just close with this guy real quick. We'll kind of see what he's got going on. I don't know if we're going to land any hits on him. We're a lot bigger than he is, so I'm flying what is effectively kind of like a hybrid between like a frigate and like a support vehicle. Hey, we hit him once. There you go. When there's a size discrepancy in between your ships, I haven't been able to figure out any kind of like data on your hit chances on enemies that are smaller than you, but I can definitely tell you enemies that are smaller than you are very, very difficult to hit, especially as your ship gets larger and larger. And so that does give you an incentive to kind of have like certain vehicles in your fleet that can fight back against smaller targets. Go ahead and pull it back on over towards that asteroid right there. I don't know if we aggroed these three or who they're shooting at. The police are now effectively here, so the fight is going to get nastier. We are receiving fire right now. In fact, we're receiving pretty nasty fire. Unfortunately, they're occupying like a central plane of the map. Oh boy, we're going to have to jump out. Okay, let's jump out real quick. I'm gonna head back on towards this guy right here because we're actually pinned down pretty hard. Little embarrassing to have to run, but honestly, like, pirate spawns are kind of overtuned in this game right now, so they jump into like every system with a rating that's like less than 8.0 like every 5 minutes with giant death fleets. And so like it's gonna mess with your ratting and it's gonna mess with your ability to do missions. It's gonna get to be a little tiny bit of a headache. All right, so we're gonna go back in now and we're gonna pray that this situation has been resolved. This guy repaired his ship, unfortunately. So we'll go ahead and give him the blappers a little bit, and hopefully no more... Ooh, 2 good hits right there. Nice, 2 big chunky hits. You love to see it. Keep firing missiles at him. Here, close the gap. I want the missile launchers to be lined up. You can reorientate all of your turrets in this game to face different directions, so if you want to fight with broadsides, it appears as though you're capable of doing that. I haven't played around with it too much. We're getting a little bit low on missiles right now, man. This guy is being an unholy... Stop firing missiles at him. They're not hitting him anyways, so we'll just kind of stay tight. I'm going to order him to go after him too, but this guy's pretty speedy. Enemy pilots in this game can kind of do like impossible things. They'll stop in a dime and like go the opposite direction. They do pretty gnarly stuff, and they're pretty hard to hit, so I'm just going to let time pass, and eventually we'll hit him and kill him. Hey, we got him right there. Good. The mission objective has been concluded. We got a little bit of loot right here. It's usually worth checking, not with like the smaller ships like these fighters. So like these smaller like utility ships that are really, really little and tiny, the equivalent of this universe's fighters. I don't tend to go after their loot very often, but you know, we've got one more guy we got to kill in Pons, or in Ponzi. So I guess I'll head over there. The game does have varied scenescapes, like you can see right here. There will be areas that you can fly through that all have... I mean, I've done missions inside asteroid fields. I've done missions inside of debris fields. I've done missions inside of all kinds of interesting places inside this title. Honestly, like, the visuals and the decorations of the various zones have not really been that big of a problem while I've been playing the game. I think it's a good-looking title. Like, you can tell it's made by one guy, and they're putting things together with just, like, primitives and things of that nature, but it gets the idea across. I mean, I played Old EVE Online when it was, like, 2007, And so, like, I'm no stranger to kind of, like, lumpy Play-Doh graphics and things like that. They don't really bother me that much. And honestly, I think the ship models actually look kind of okay. They all look like a big stack of shipping containers sometimes. But look at the size of that missile launcher. Who doesn't love a missile launcher that size, huh? Now, there is also fully developed mining and manufacturing inside of this game. So each of these asteroids right here, you can go and suck them dry if you want, and then you can process that ore inside of a refinery into a million different things, and then you could take those million different kind of like base elements, and you can make them into gaskets and screws and nails and things like that, and rivets. And then once you've got, man, these little tiny nobody pirate hunting missions, dude. They keep sending me on these missions, like, so sometimes I get missions where it's like, go fight like 20 pirates, and those are like the fun ones. Oh, never mind, the police killed him before I could. Well, that was worth the trip over here. Let me go ahead, and we've got to drop off all of our jobs back at home. There's a number of things in this game that are inefficient, and they need to be like fixed. So, for example, things are overly gritty and granular. Like right now, we have to pick up all these missions in different spots, and then we need to spend a bunch of time in transit dropping them all off at various spots. That needs to go. Every single system that you land inside of should have a job board that has every single job from every single station in that sector in one place without you having to dock. And then on top of that, when you complete missions, this is the future. They should just wire you the money once they have the kill confirmed. Like, you shouldn't have to go back and talk to anybody to turn in a mission unless it's like a delivery or something like that. But for like a hit, like the second you kill the guy, it should just wire you the money, and then you can just like be on your merry way. There's lots of little things right here that could definitely, in my opinion, use a coat of quality of life paint. I'm gonna drop off all these jobs, and then we'll pick up some other jobs, and we'll kind of see what we can do around. I mean, you don't really even need to take jobs in this game. As you just saw, enemies are constantly jumping into like every single system in the game that has a security rating that's lower than probably like 8. Will get attacked by pirates really, really, really frequently. And so you can kind of make a living just hanging out defending systems and shooting stuff. Killing things does have an effect on the system though, so like the more you rat in a given location, the higher the security rating will go. And so that means the police will respond faster and faster. There's like a natural degradation that exists, but I haven't been able to lock down exactly how it works while I've been playing around with the game because, like I said, after you do all the tutorials, there's basically no information on this game anywhere on the internet. And so, like, whenever there's like a new mechanic that I bump into, I've got to just kind of figure it out. Now, I think this guy right here, yeah, this right here is a special afterburner. So you know how in sometimes when you're playing EVE Online, like one of the random pirates will drop like a random pirate warp drive or like a pirate gun or something like that. This game has that same thing. Everything in the game has a chance to drop a prototype, and that's what we've got right here. Unfortunately, selling the thing is going to be really, really difficult. It says that it's worth $191,000. Unfortunately, we've got to find a place. So the economy in this game is kind of interesting, and it takes some getting used to. We're going to have to find somebody. Ooh, 8 raiders in Hunu? Yeah, let's do that one. That one will be a fun way to close out the video. The economy in this game, there is marketing, there is trading. They do give you a docket of tools to make that happen. I do think that the docket of tools could be a little bit better, but they do exist in their own way, and I think you've just got to kind of like learn how to navigate them. So basically at every location, you click on the supply tab, it will tell you what they produce. So it looks like this is a gun production hub right here. They make a utterly, absurdly huge amount of weaponry. That's just what they do. And so, for example, you would want to take these to a war zone. This place looks like it demands raw ore because it's a manufactory, so this would be a location that if you were a miner, you would want to bring all your ore to because it looks like everything here has almost a double pricing markup. So this is a really good place for a miner with his mining fleet to be dropping off their loads. As far as supplying goes, this right here, for example, is on a 75% reduction in price. What we can do is we can click on the market data that we've accumulated. So like if I close down that, you go remote prices. If we've seen this object at any other station, it will keep that logged here basically forever. And while for things like weapons, it's not going to be super helpful. Let's see if I can find something. So this one's 75% off, right? So they're selling basic sensors for 25 bucks. If we wanted to make a lot of money, we should take it out to Rendo Labs, because Rendo Labs is giving you 130 per basic sensor, which means that you are 5xing, 6xing your money almost. So they only have 150 of them, so you're not really going to make much more than a couple, not that many credits. But the principle still holds. And so it's a really good idea in this game to dock and look at every single market, if for nothing else, just to populate the hell out of your lists. And then, good quality of life here. I know I've been complaining about other quality of life things. Good quality of life is you can click on the little arrow, and it will automatically set your autopilot to take you to that station, and then you just press the brackets to turn up your game speed, and zip, zop, zoop, you just head on over there and drop off your stuff. Other services that are available at stations, there's lounges, you can hire mercenaries inside of here, and you can read news throughout the galaxy that's procedurally generated with random events happening that'll give you a clue as to like who's buying what, who's selling what, who's in the market for what. There's the university. This game has the same training system as EVE Online. You can see here that my character has trained a lot of skills. You can turn this off, by the way, inside the extra options. If you just want to click on these and automatically get your skill and not have to wait like the 5 to 15 minutes it takes to train a skill, you can turn this off. So quality of life, good there. Some people don't like waiting for stuff, and that's perfectly fine. You have your skill points. Every single mission you do in this game, every single activity you do in this game, every single little thing that you do is going to give you skill points. So even just flying around the galaxy is going to give you skill points. Like every X amount of time you spend just in spaceflight, just around, that's all that it takes. Where am I right now? Oh my god. But pretty much everything you do in this game is going to give you skill points. Every path is a good path to advancement. You have your character over here. This is my character. They've got a bunch of I don't know if they're AI portraits or if they're just random portraits of like stock photos or whatever. But anyways, they've got a bunch of portraits you can pick from. You get XP. Every time you level up your character, you get a fat handful of SP. That's pretty much all that it does. And then on top of that, for every like X amount of minutes you spend flying around the galaxy, you will also get 4 skill points. Every time you complete a job, you get 3 or 4 skill points. Depending on how well you did the job, you may get bonus skill points, so you might get like an extra 2 or something like that. I honestly don't pay that much of an attention to my skill points. I kind of just like fly around and do what I do. What was I supposed to be doing here? I don't recall what I was supposed to be doing. Gemini mining is probably, yeah. This is the only station in the sector, so this is probably where I'm supposed to be dropping off this job. There it is right there. So when you see me turn in this quest, I got 4 skill points on that side. And pretty much every station has a different university that teaches different things. As far as combat goes, it's most of the stuff that you can expect from EVE Online. They've got, drones, they've got bombs, they've got missiles, they've got explosives, they've got lasers, they've got machine guns. Pretty much anything you might want is up inside of here. I need to buy some more missiles, but these guys don't seem like they have that many missiles for sale. I may have to go back to like a central core system to do that. You'll also find shipyards around. I am saving up for a new ship right now. I've got like 1.6 mil, which is not that much, all things considered. I think the most I've ever gotten paid so far is I killed a pirate, and he had like a 330,000 bounty on him when I opened up his loot. And so that's the best that it's gotten so far. What I need to do is I need to look at this thing and figure out what system I can sell that in. It gives you a 50% boost to your afterburner. If you hold down shift, it turns on your afterburner, and your afterburner makes you a lot faster. So I've dropped off all my jobs, so I think it's probably time for us to go deal with the pirate threat in Hunu. And in fact, it looks like it's going to be a pretty considerable problem in Hunu. Yeah, large raider gang. I was going to say, we've got Caxi Oapi's got to go. All right, Caxi Oapi, I'll go get you. I do play this game on 3X. I think actually the game plays better on 3X. I think this game is kind of lumpy and slow when you play it on 1X. When you play it on 3X, the game actually buzzes a little bit, and it's got a little bit more of an action-packed feel to it. I should probably buy some bullets before I go. I was going to say, both me and my mercenary are completely and totally out of bullets right now. So let me restock real fast, and then we'll head out on the way. I am interested in getting a new ship. I would love to get a new ship on camera here today, and there is like a nice frig right there. We have enough money for it. We probably couldn't outfit it very well, but we could definitely get it. I can sell off some of the things that I've been swiping off of other people's ships while I've been murdering and, you know, doing my space bounty hunter thing. We'll go ahead and do that right there just to clear out the cargo bay ever so slightly. But my mercenary is going to need, like, let's buy him, like, 600 rounds of 20 millimeter. I can't afford the expensive missiles yet, so I'll probably just stick with my little kind of like baby bitch fusion missiles, I suppose. I'll just max out my entire cargo bay because I still need to pass this stuff off to my fleet as well. So there's that. We'll give him some bullets. I've got 324 fusion missiles. Let's go kill some pirates, shall we? This entire UI, by the way, I'm sure some among you are like, dude, why is the UI so gnarly? Like, why is there so much stuff on screen? Pretty easy, actually, why there's so much stuff on screen. Because you can close it all down. That's pretty much it. You can close it all. Oh, man, that guy ran up on me, didn't he? Ow! Okay. All right. Let's go ahead, and I guess we will engage. I don't know if we're going to be successful at it. This is one of those little zippy dudes it's hard to hit, so we may or may not land something here. Let me get my basics up real fast. We got one of them. He's splashed. Entire wing. Go ahead and attack that guy. I will help out with it. He's flying a little close right now, but if he straightens out, he's dead. And, like, he knows that. I think missiles got him right there. I was going to say missiles got him right there. We got a bigger ship over on this side, roughly the same size that I am. Let's go ahead and pull up on him. He can probably tap us back a little bit. It's probably going to hurt when he fires back, but he's a lot slower than all the guys we've been fighting previously, so we should be able to land a lot of hits on him once we get him lined up. There we go. Eat him. That's what I'm talking about. Wow, he's outrunning a lot of missiles right now. All right, apparently I'm now a laser operations manager. So there are various achievements inside this game that are like hidden from the player. Like, you know, kill 500 raiders. And if you kill said 500 raiders, it'll pop up and be like, surprise, you get 50 skill points. It's pretty nice, actually. It's kind of like a birthday present to you that you didn't know it was coming. It's one of the features of the game that I actually like very much, is that sometimes I'll drop off like a low. Oh, the cops got here and ruined my mission, bro. There's only one guy left. I wanted to kill them all. Sometimes, like, when these missions with these big battles end up inside of a zone that has a high security rating, the cops will show up and basically do the mission for you. How we looking here? He's trying to outrun him. He definitely doesn't want to get hit with the missiles. How we looking on missile supply right now? I fired about half my missiles. All right. Fair. Got him on a straightaway right here, though. Put my other pilot on him, too. Hey, and there he goes. He's down. I don't know how much loot ended up getting dropped, but you should definitely go through all the loot that drops. Just because occasionally you will find rare spawn stuff like that afterburner that we picked up. And you can also get rare spawn money. So sometimes, like, some little fighter craft will just be carrying like $500,000 on him. It happens from time to time. It's only happened once in like the 13 hours that I played this game in order to get ready for this video. But every now and again, you'll open up one of these little space raiders and it'll be like, you found a wallet with 370,000 credits in it. And you'll be like, damn! You know, and you'll be all excited about it. I don't think I want the junk part. I guess I could take the junk parts and I can refine them. But either way, that's what combat looks like inside of this game. Went pretty well. Fairly happy with the way that our fights went. Let's go ahead and refit, and I'll kind of show you the manufacturing process, I guess, as much as humanly possible. We're kind of running out of time in this video, but I think I've got time to refit, and then I'll just show you some mining. I'll show you some refining. You can build your own stations in this game. You can build your own manufactories. It's not anything near as sophisticated as what you can do in something like X3, let alone X4. But the basics are all here for like your manufacturing and construction. So if you're the kind of person that likes to take things from pirates and do like a bunch of farming missions, and rat for a little while, and then take all of the things that you got from ratting and break them down into core parts, and then take them over to your manufacturing center, and then turn them into some object that you know carries value 7 jumps away, and then you load them all onto a cargo frigate, and you fly it all over there. You can do the whole process in this game. You can do that. You can even build inside of wormholes, as far as I know. I think, like, the full wormhole experience is here now. Like, I'm pretty sure this game changes, so, like, the developer patches this game pretty much every single month in, like, a large, meaningful way that, like, completely redoes some aspect or some mechanic of the game will get, like, a full rebuild every single month, or it'll be implemented every month. The developer right now, I think, is on update number 150 of him doing that. Updates have slowed down a little bit this year. He hasn't been following, like, a monthly release schedule this year like he has been for the last couple of years. I don't know what the reason for that is. I'm guessing it's because he's getting to the nitty-gritty portion of designing the game, which is, like, getting the narrative in and, like, all the scripting and stuff like that. Because as it stands right now, I haven't really seen anything that, to me, looked like a storyline. I found a few missions where if you go to the offices in, like, some of the core systems, one guy wanted me to go get food for his cat, and then he wanted me to be, like, a shipping and hauler for, like, a company that he was starting. I found that one storyline mission that, like, had a continuation in between each one. But other than that, I've only really found tutorials here and there. There may be more storyline missions out there, but that seems to be an area of the game that is very much actively under construction, like, right now, and is not quite in the game. So I think if you're looking for something that's going to give you that expansive narrative experience, you're not going to find it here. Not yet. Maybe someday, but not yet. Maybe we grab, like, so every single ship in this game, there's like 80-something different ships in this game, and they all have different ship specials. On top of that, there's like 10 factions in this game, and every time you do a mission, it's assigned to a faction. And, like, the higher your rating is with a faction, if you buy their ships, you will get cool bonuses. So, for example, my current ship can lock basically an infinite amount of targets because I'm in such good straits with Alpha. If I was to buy this ship, I would get a faster recharge bonus on something, and then probably on my energy, and then we get +2 max targets that we can lock in on. Can I pilot this guy? I think I can pilot this guy. Let's go ahead and buy the assimilator real fast, and then I'll show you. We'll activate that guy. That's now our new ship, so we've got one more turret to play around with as well, which is pretty cool. With this little conservator right here, we can go ahead and confirm the sail. And then we can go to the garage, and you can kind of see how equipping ships works in this game. So I've got my blasters over there. I need all my mods. There we go. I'm just going to grab, like, every single weapon and mod that I can possibly carry and throw it on in there for right now. You're probably wondering what the protein bar is for. I'll talk about that in a minute. But anyways, there's a lot of stuff to talk about here. This video may go a little tiny teensy bit long, but I'll put the Blaster 5 in right there, Blaster 5 in right there. I would say it's probably not a terrible idea with the energy generation on this guy. We can probably fit, like, a Blaster 3. We'll have to see what energy levels look like on this guy. I don't know exactly what the energy levels are going to look like. These are for life support slots. So some systems have hazards like radiation fields and stuff like that, which means your ship has to go on, like, full lockdown. When it goes on full lockdown, the quality of the stuff you have on board in these life support systems will determine how long you can survive in that environment. Because the game operates on an extended time scale. Like, every 5 minutes I have to pay my mercenaries. So I assume every 5 minutes in game is, like, 2 weeks. So if you're in a hazardous zone for, like, 8 to 10 minutes, that means you're probably there for about a month and living off of protein bars and water filtration and stuff like that. And so that's just the way that I conceptualize it in my head. I do think the prototype afterburner would be pretty cool on here. I'm willing to bet this ship is probably super slow. Shield generator sounds nice. We're probably going to need an energy generator to get our energy regeneration to look good with this many energy weapons on here, I would think. I'm going to see how it runs for right now, but I get the feeling we're going to drain our cap pretty fast. Shield booster or energy damage. I think I'll go shield booster, and then the rest of this stuff can go back in storage, except for the fusion missiles. I kind of need those. Cool. We got ourselves a brand new ship. Your ship is customizable. You can give it paint jobs and stuff. I'm not going to do it right here, but you can choose the colors of like all the RGB coming out of the windows and stuff like that. I just showed you. I don't know if you saw me throw the junk parts into the refinery, but basically refinery, we would take this stuff right here, and so we've broken all that junk down into its constituent parts. You would bring it over to the fabricator over here. So inside my storage, I have a document for some springs, and I have a document for some ball bearings. I don't know if I have the stuff to build any of this, so I need silicon, oxygen, and water. I do have oxygen. Unfortunately, we have no silicon, so I couldn't do that if I wanted to, if I wanted to bash out some ball bearings right there. I do have hydrogen, and I do think I have, yeah, I got a little bit of hydrogen. I want to show you how to build something, and so I'm trying to get my tech specs up right now. We've got salt crystals, I think, in here too. Yeah, there we go, salt crystals, and then the other thing is just carbon. I think I got a bunch of carbon rattling around too somewhere. There we go. And so you take this over to the fabricator, put that document in right there. It's going to ask you for parts. You're going to throw those in there. You're going to activate the fabricator. And looky there, we created 6 assorted springs. And that's how the game starts to come together, is that you just start manufacturing things. You can build your own stations. And these springs are going to be parts of weapons. They're going to be parts of ships. So on and so forth. I've seen blueprints that are unfathomably, like, expensive in this game. There are definitely blueprints out there that cost a hot grip. So yeah, the game right now doesn't have a whole lot of structured gameplay. It doesn't have a whole lot of things going on outside of like the core basic things that you do inside EVE Online. That is to say, like ratting, mining, manufacturing, procurement, moving things around, drayage. You can do all of that stuff, but big stuff like raid bosses and things I haven't really seen so far. Haven't done any wormholing yet, so I can't super speak to like what goes on inside of wormholes. There we go. Load those missiles right there. I can't speak as to what goes on inside of like wormholes. Some people really seem to enjoy it. I know that's like a favored pastime for like small group gang warfare inside EVE Online. Wormholing was never something I got. Wow. With my jets on, I do 305 with this afterburner. This afterburner is actually kind of a nutty boy. That's like a bigger shit. Oh, this guy's still on standby mode. There we go. We'll put him back in fleet formation so that he knows to come back to us. But one thing they need to add to the game is it's impossible to tell what services exist inside each of these stations until you actually like go to them and like dock inside of them, or you have to open up a panel with like all of your data that the game has collated and collected about various locations and like find it on the list. There needs to be some kind of iconography or something like underneath each of these icons that tells you what services are available so that you can quickly eyeball like, oh, they have a mission board over here. Oh, they have a fabricator over here. That's another quality of life thing I think they could get done pretty easily along with like the system-wide task board and along with various other things. Damn, there ain't nothing to do around here. Apparently, I have killed every pirate that has ever existed in the face. Dead as dirt. But yeah, this is Astrox Imperium. I hope you guys liked what you saw today. I am firmly aware of the fact that this is not a game that's going to be for everybody. This is bald-facedly just a game for people that love EVE Online but don't have time to play it anymore. And they just want to fool around with something kind of like EVE Online in their free time. You can do that here. I'd be willing to bet if you're okay with most of the activities in the game being fairly simple and self-guided, like there's not a whole lot of narrative to comfort the player or anything else like that, but if you're okay with learning the game on your own, figuring it all out with very, very few utilities after the tutorials, and if you're okay with just kind of doing repetitive tasks that craft things, blow things up, build things, explore things, so on and so forth, I think you'll probably have a good time with the game. You'll probably put a lot of hours into it. I've been sitting compulsively playing it for the last 15 or 16 hours, and I used to play EVE Online, so obviously you can see Kill and Rob Senator Gillisaw. Oof, that's a faction hit, huh? Faction hits are risky business. That's going to hurt my reputation. I prefer to act sort of as like law enforcement. That's kind of where I'm at right now. We can chat with Jagjo Tokiku about his debt. Okay, that mission's got some fighting inside of it. They want me to pick up a couple of objects that are just sort of laying around in other systems too. so I can probably do that as well. Basically, just salvage and reclamation is what that is. You got to pay a down payment, though, in case you run off with the loot. But yeah, this is Astrox Imperium. It is a very specific game for very specific people. And so it's very, very difficult to make a very specific video on this game, just because you already know going in that most people are not going to be feeling this title. But for the people that this game is made for, that is to say ex-EVE players that just don't have time for a digital job anymore and you want to log in and do things at your own pace, I think this is actually a fairly solid placebo for that. Like, I think this is actually not terrible. I think it's not a project that's likely to ever be done. I mean, the developer's had 150 some odd updates that he's done now that are chunky releases. At this stage of covering the game, I've covered it a couple times before. At this stage of covering the game, I think it's ready for general usage and play. The first 2 times I covered the game, it was kind of early to cover the game. However, this time around, this is where it feels like the mining, the manufacturing, the fighting, all that kind of stuff is where it needs to be, and I'm guessing that the updates are slowing down because they're starting to hit the gnarly stuff like designing mission branches and like dialogue and stuff like that. But anyways, if you're the target audience for this, I hope you liked it. I will see you all later. Thank you for stopping on in, and that's about all I've got for you. This was my tour for you of Astrox Imperium. Bye, folks.